I'm Sam,
I'm Cindy,
and
and
we
we are
are the
the
Dorvilles.
Dorvilles.
So today we're going to be talking to you about an interesting topic, which has to do with fighting. How do you fight in your marriage? All right, so we're sharing some tips on how to fight well and not destructive.
Yes, so it starts with just being self aware. Obviously, in any fight, you have a part in it. Whether you started it, whether you plan to finish it, whether something you did impacted your partner or vice versa, you have a role in the fight. So you need to be aware that it's not just something that your partner is doing. It could be something you maybe miscommunicated or forgot to communicate. So you have to be aware of what's going on with yourself in addition to what's going on with your partner.
Fights happen for a specific reason. I have a perspective, and I think I'm right. You have a perspective, and you think they're right, and we both think that we are right, and then that's why we fight. All right. So understanding that there's two perspectives, right, and you have to catch your partner's perspective to truly understand what both sides are thinking to come to a resolution that makes sense.
Yeah, just because our perspectives are different doesn't make one right and one wrong. You have to figure out what the middle ground is so that you can agree and share the same perspective.
Point number two: don't let the sun set on your wrath. All right. So this is a biblical message, and I this resonated with me a long time ago. I remember in a past relationship, I remember going to sleep and I was very upset, and then I woke up the next day and I was even more mad than I was the day before because I let the sun set on my wrath. And a lot of people do this and they don't understand what this ends up creating in their relationship.
Well, I also think you don't really sleep well when you have had a big fight and you haven't resolved it. So you may be going over it in your head all night. Now you're extra tired and you've been thinking about it over and over and getting more upset about it instead of coming to more of a solution. So if you don't resolve it before you go to bed, I think it'll definitely grow 9 times out of 10 by the time you get up in the morning.
Yeah, we generally have a rule. We want to try to squash this 6 to 12 hours. We want to really try to just knock out this issue and get our day going back on a positive direction. We don't want to lay in the mess of a fight all day. At least I don't.
Yeah, I mean, we feel each other's energies a lot. So if one of our energies is off, it throws, each other off.
Yeah, for sure.
Number 3, be quick to say, I'm sorry. You have to realize that when you've hurt your partner, whether it was intentional or not, it's important to say, I'm sorry. And also, will you forgive me? Like, it may be something that it takes them a while to forgive or a while to forget. They may never forget. But what's important is for them to know that that was not your actual intention, that you do feel really bad, that you hurt them, and that you plan to make it better and you will do better.
As men, sometimes we struggle with tone and knowing and understand that this may affect how things actually come out, even though they're not meant to be, hurtful. But taking that time to pause and just say, "Hey, I'm sorry for saying it like that," or "I'm sorry for how that made you felt." Just mends the fences and a lot quicker instead of circling the wagon for too long. It minimizes the fight time.
In addition to tone, leading into number 4.
Number 4, don't say things that you can't take back. Um, Sometimes you're in the heat of the battle, right? And you just want to get your point across. And people make this mistake all the time, thinking that their partner have to receive or accept some of the words and things like that they drop on them in a fight, and thinking that it's okay. It's never okay to fight below the belt. It's never okay. it's hard to take those words back after you've cut somebody really deep.
Yeah, you don't want to try to be a one-upper and just say something just to hurt your partner, try to shut them down. You want to be kind in your fight. Even though you're upset about something, if you're so upset that you can't be kind and you know just word vomit's going to come out and you're going to say something hurtful, don't have the fight right then. Just say, all right, I need to take a minute. Can we come back in an hour and discuss this and take time to calm down? Because if you're in the heat of the moment and you say something hurtful, that can hurt your partner for days and weeks, maybe even longer.
I agree.
Number 5, never keep score. Avoid fighting about things that happened in the past. If you're discussing a current event, something that's currently happening to you that you are fighting about, don't try to bring up what's happened in the past as, well, you should have known because of this situation, or, well, I told you then that I wanted you to do this. Like, it may not be the same situation, and you may have been thinking about it differently. So you don't want to treat each one based on the things that have happened in the past, because that's only going to prolong the fight, bring up old wounds, cause more hurt. You want to actually work on coming to a solution. And to do that, you need to focus on whatever the current issue is that you are having.
I noticed this as an issue a long time ago, and I think one of the first things I said to you is, I'm not going to have the same fight over and over. But you have to be diligent about solving that issue. There's a reason why that continues to come up. All right, solve that problem, bury it. It should never come back up. Once we have an argument, once we're done with settling our scores, this old wound or old argument should never come back up again.
Yeah, and if you do realize it is coming up again, maybe it's time to get a third party, someone who's impartial, to get involved and hear you out, because there's clearly something that you're not hearing from your partner, or you're not communicating well to your partner. And a third perspective might be able to help you finally resolve it so it doesn't keep coming back up.
Number 6, don't become self-consumed. It's all about me, you never do this, what about me? What about what all I do for you? Stuff like that. All right. Then what that turns into is you minimize your partner. You didn't get a chance to listen to them at all. And then you made everything about you, where sometimes the argument was never about you to begin with.
Yeah. And number 7, always try to end in a win-win situation. When you've had a fight, you don't want to walk away feeling like you've lost, and neither does your partner. You have to communicate so that you can find some middle ground, so that you both feel you got your feelings out, you both feel that you were heard. And obviously, there will be times one person has to concede more than the other. But as long as you realize that you're a team, you're working together, and you're trying to do what your partner needs while also meeting your own needs, you'll be able to come up with a solution that works for both of you.
Yeah, every dynamic is really different. Every relationship is really different. Sometimes the man takes the lead, sometimes the woman takes the lead. But I challenge the men that are serving their family. It's your responsibility to make sure that you guys are ending the argument the right way. All right. Be humble your heart, and make sure that she's okay and she's taken care of, and she has what she needs. Sometimes those concessions, although sometimes it may look like a loss, it's a win, because it avoids you getting nagged later.
Happy spouse, happy house. It's not just about the wife.
Yeah. If you like our content, please hit like and subscribe.